On camera? Oh, we are live. I'm live with Bad Bunny. You know Bad Bunny? We got the new kitchen show and we live. Thank you everyone for coming to the kitchen show. Okay. We are live. Welcome to the kitchen catch up live show. This is the show where we will be doing informal, loose connections, inflow, opposite of the podcast. Opposite, but we're all business on the podcast. This is all Bad Bunny and this is all dancing and it's all fun conversations. We're here to answer your questions, so just drop your questions. I got my very special co-host, Emily Gray, aka Emily Grateful, aka Emily the Beast of Venice. She's over here on camera. Can we say hi to her, please? Say hi, Emily.
Hi, everyone.
Emily will be taking your questions and she will be making fun of a lot of my ways and really blow me out here. All right, so we got some good stuff to go over, but I want to talk about, I did mushrooms this past weekend. I went on a deep ceremony, and I mean, drop in the comments if you've ever done ceremonially, not at a rave or at a party. We're talking about intentionally, ceremonially. I'm master on if you've ever done psychedelics. And I want to know how potent, how powerful was it for your overall health? Maybe you had a bad trip. Maybe the setting wasn't right. But I kind of want to talk about this because it does play into our health, big time. And on a side note, Emily, you want some tea? You want some tea?
I would love some tea.
You want some tea? Okay, we're going to get Emily some tea, but I'm going to tell you this story. We're going to warm up some water. So I did some psychedelics, and let me tell you, if there's anything that is like 20 years of therapy, aside from somatics is really the only thing that I found to be as close to therapeutically potent as psychedelics. But if there's anything as close, oh my Lord, it's psychedelics. It's incredible. And I forgot how potent it was as I'm here making some tea for both of us. You want green tea?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, green tea, she's down. So I forgot how potent it is. But psychedelics have this, you gotta be ready first and foremost. You gotta be in the right setting. You gotta have the right music. You gotta feel safe in your setting. It's not to be messed with. You don't wanna go willy-nilly on this stuff. And so as you go into this psychedelic ceremony, there's something really potent that happens. There's a, oh my God, I'm really anxious because this psychedelic ceremony is putting out all of the things that I'm really hiding from, the darkness inside of me. And there's a potent moment, and some of you might, and put in the comments if you've experienced this, you felt anxiety. You felt that, I want to get out of this. I can't do this anymore. What am I doing? I took too much, right? And we don't know how to surrender. But this is an important lesson in life, is that when we want to control everything around us, the universe or our soul quickly humbles us. And I was humbled. Because quickly I wanted to be like, oh wait, I'm not ready. Why did I do this? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Or all the stories in the ego come up. And quickly there's a moment that if you lean in and you go, I'm ready to surrender. I'm ready to let go of all this control that I want to hold on to. And I want to let whatever's coming through to work through me. It's such a blissful transition from anxiety. And the contrast is incredible. Anyway, the psychedelic ceremony showed me some beautiful stuff. It is humbling, it is powerful, and I'm such a big proponent of doing it safely with the right people. It can absolutely change your life. I did have this thought that how can people live all of their lives without ever doing this? It's such a travesty that we can't even get into a psychedelic experience and actually experience life for what it is without the ego. It's so blissful, but it's so powerful too. And I went away with a lot of downloads that I'm going to implement into my life. Friendships, relationships, work. But in any case, I'm really interested to see if some of you did psychedelics. Emily, first and foremost, have you ever done psychedelics?
I have done psychedelics, and I have a very similar takeaway as you do. I think it's a really beautiful opportunity to just expand our mind and to kind of remove the filter that our brains are typically placing over our experience. And we have some questions here that I want to address. So June Raj 24 has been asking what psychedelics, if they're mushrooms, that they need to know, they want to let go.
Ooh, I like that. I need to know, I want to let go. It's funny because the needing is the very thing that is showing you that you want to let go. I need to, I have to, right? Instead of like, I get to be in this experience and let it flow through me. For me, it was mushrooms. It has been the thing. I mean, I've done ayahuasca. Woof, that is a whole nother beast. I want to talk about that with you, Emily, in a second. That's a whole nother beast. But mushrooms is something that is like potent enough, but gentle enough. So for me, it was psilocybin, and it was a beautiful sound ceremony. I mean, like this guy, David, that I work with, he's incredible, and his music is incredible. And think about it, like music has this ability to affect your frequency. And the frequency that is affected by psychedelics when you're under the influence, and then having this music bring up all of these things, whether it's the darkness or the light inside of you, is really powerful. Have you ever done it with music, Emily?
I have, and it's really beautiful because what the psilocybin is doing is that it's, taking these neural pathways and breaking them apart and then connecting them in new ways. And so often you can listen to music, like there's your auditory sense, but you can feel the music, or like you can see the music in visuals, and I think that that's such a beautiful experience.
You can see the music in visuals. Here you go, your green tea,
Fermented
green tea for you. You can absolutely see the music with visuals, and it really shakes things up. We have any other questions about this? I'd love to answer anything about psychedelics. And it's not a show on psychedelics. It's just a very potent. It can be. It's a recent experience.
Nikki Sparkle says, "I love sitting with combo and a sound bath at the same time. So powerful."
Ooh. I've never done combo. So for all of you who don't know, combo is a frog medicine, but really it's a frog poison that goes into the body, and a lot of indigenous tribes in their own indigenous wisdom use it, and it flows through your body, and in its own wisdom finds the places where you need the healing. Because I've had talked to many people, they go, I don't know, it just flowed through me and I felt it working on my, and then you puke a lot. And Emily, like, that's kind of why I'm not down to do the combo, because I hate puking. And like from the stories that my friends out here, when they do it, they're like, oh no, like I had a bucket in front of me, and they were puking their brains out. Have you done combo? You've done combo?
I've never done it, but I've heard you basically are sitting in a circle and you all get the medicine, which is this poison, and then everyone starts purging or puking with their own little bucket together. But I'm curious your thoughts, because I've heard both people using it for like energetic releases, but then also physical releases. So I know that it's a medicine that is often used for like mold toxicity. So it can get physical toxins out of your body as well.
Full circle, because the ceremony that I went to this weekend was for my friend Allie from Super Mush, and she's going to actually drop by in one of these live shows sometime soon. But fantastic company, fantastic human, and she has done it for mold toxicity. And she says the only two things that really help her mold toxicity was doing the combo and doing a retreat, a fast. She did a fast in Costa Rica, and that had like all this detoxing and like just staying away from food and just doing this cleansing fast. But the combo, she does it every year for the past 3 or 4 years. And she sent me this picture after one time she did it, and she looked like a frog. She literally looks like you look like the animal that is literally poisoning you. Listen, look, I'm talking about it, but this is not medical advice. You've got to talk to your doctor before you do any of this. I haven't done combo because I have a little fear around it. But in any case, have you done ayahuasca?
I have not done ayahuasca. I definitely want to. And I think I'm just waiting for the very clear kind of invitation to do ayahuasca. But you've told me your story. You want to tell You
Yeah,
want to tell
sure.
everyone here about your ayahuasca journey in Peru, right? You were in Peru?
In Ecuador. I went to
Ecuador.
the land of my people, and I came in and I was like, all right, well, listen, this is pretty incredible. For those of you, I want you to bear with me for a few seconds, and I want you to just imagine. In my meditations, I was seeing this indigenous man with red eye paint. And it was in my meditation since 2020. It just popped up. I remember I was by my partner and I go, I feel like there was an indigenous ghost in my meditation because it didn't feel like those meditations. You know, like when you're deep in a meditation and something pops up really potently? And it kept happening. Then I started dreaming about it. And I go, who is this man? What is this energy? What's happening? Well, lo and behold, 2 years ago, I'm doing a talk in Beverly Hills just about skin health. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, hey, you remember me? I go, yeah, I think I remember you. I helped this guy get a squirrel out of his car. It was under his car, and he couldn't leave because there was a whole family of squirrels. So I helped him on Abbot-Kinney over here up the street. And we start talking, and he's like, oh, great talk. I love skin and my health. And he would go deeper. I go, what do you do? What's the type of work that you're into? And he starts showing me. He's a show director. He's selling this to Netflix. He goes around the world. And he goes to all of the countries that have these really powerful leaders, right? That basically are so tuned into consciousness. They're embodied human beings, basically. One of those he went to in Ecuador, and it's this guy Minari. He's the leader of the indigenous tribe, the Zapata. And he's telling me all of these places he's went, and basically it's called believers. He wants to bring non-believers to meet these gurus, quote unquote, or just embodied masters. And almost every single time the non-believers become believers because they see just how powerful healing can be or spirituality. Regardless, he goes, Christian, I want you to see the trailer for my show that is coming out. I said, okay, let me see it. And he takes out his phone and he goes, this is the one in Ecuador. And he presses play, and the first shot, it opens up like this, is Minari, the spiritual leader of the Zapata tribe, and he has red eye paint over his eyes. My jaw dropped, because this was the person that I was seeing in my dreams 4 years before. So right after that, I said, how can I meet him? I'll go right now. I'll drop everything. And guess what? There was a retreat happening in a month. He connected me. The next day, I was signed up to be in it, and I went. And it's just like, ayahuasca is incredible. It's an incredible experience, especially when you're in the jungle where you see the vine in front of you. And this guy tired us out. We hiked all of the Amazon and we were exhausted, and we ended up going into this ceremony. I've done a lot of mushrooms. The mushrooms were really potent, but ayahuasca is something else. It is like, you know how mushrooms, you go in waves, Emily? Mm-hmm. You know, like you're kind of like, oh, I'm like coming down. Oh no, here we go. This is my darkest side. Mm-hmm. Ayahuasca is like you are up for 6-7 hours, fully up. There's no waves. You're just being shown the most potent stuff that you can see. And it really humbled me. Ayahuasca taught me more than anything how to surrender. Like I wanted to control like how things were going to happen. And the number one thing that I remember from ayahuasca is like, it was shaking me saying, you're not in control. You need to learn how to surrender, surrender, surrender. And it was really, really, yeah, it was powerful. So Emily, now are you encouraged to go?
I am. I definitely, I would love to learn from Mama I. And I think as you were saying with mushrooms as well, that, you know, it's all about set and setting. And I think now, like, I do have experience with psilocybin when I maybe wasn't in the best mindset. And it's really beautiful now, even experiencing when you sometimes lose control, but having that perspective that like, okay, this is the lesson. You know, the lesson is to surrender to that, and something that really like takes you out of your mind into a completely different, just a different playing field, you know, I think is something that I definitely want to experience. So we'll have to talk more. Get me to Ecuador.
Yeah, get you to Ecuador. I got the hookups over there. And like, look, for the people viewing, for the people even listening, if you're not by your phone, it's timing, right? Like, do you feel called to do this? Is this the right time? And so I'd love to know if you have ever done ayahuasca. And did you find that it was healing for you? or dysregulating, you never want to do it again. I'm interested to see anything that comes in. Emily, let me know if anything comes in.
Yeah, we do have an out of context question, but I'll ask this
Okay,
one
here
while
we go. That's what it's for.
while we wait for the ayahuasca responses. But Pushing the Limits is asking what brand of teapot you use because they are looking for a non-toxic one without plastic.
What a great question. Let me show you while we're in my kitchen. Okay, so this is the Fellow one. This is the Fellow teapot.
That was great.
And it's stainless steel on the inside. And I found this to be, look, I was doing it like the old school way. I was just taking a little pot and heating it up and putting it into something. And then one of the partners that we have at the show had a collab with Fellow, and they're stainless steel on the inside. And you want stainless steel. You don't, either glass or stainless steel. You don't want anything Teflon heating up any of the water that you're using. But I love this because how long did it take? Less than a minute, and we had hot water, and now we're enjoying our tea. That's a good question. and I'll be happy to tour my kitchen too.
Fellow is also really great for, I know that you've posted before on, even the paper cups that we get from coffee shops that they're lined with plastic, or like if the lid has plastic, then that heat, you're getting the microplastics when you drink your coffee or your matcha or whatever. And Fellow has like reusable coffee mugs that you can bring your own to the coffee shop, and then you're getting the microplastic.
Well, what do you do? Because you and I, we go to the same coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
We often have meetings there.
Shout out Boulevard.
Shout out Boulevard. Maybe we'll do a show from Boulevard. That might be kind of cool. Anyway, like, what do you do? I know you see what I do, but yeah. I never noticed. What do you do?
As often as I can, if I'm sitting there, I'll ask for a mug, and I'll say that I'm not taking it to go, because I think even if they don't know, then just, American culture, we tend to take everything to go, then they'll give you the to-go cup. So I'll make it a point to ask for a mug, and then I've started to actually bring my own like reusable mug sometimes. And then one time when I was really intentional about it, I was going on a walk with a friend, and I asked if I could take the mug with me, and I said, I promise I'll give it back. And they let me take the mug with me. So.
Cool. Now, yeah, I ask, like every time I'm there, I'm like, oh, can you put it in glass? Because they have the glass for the other drinks, and I'll take that. And like for the people viewing out there, it's like, it's really not a big deal bringing your own cup. They're not going to say, well, we can't serve you unless it says Dunkin' Donuts on the label, And I'll say a quick piece here. I test myself every year for my toxic load, and to see like what's really high and where is it coming from. Years ago, when I was working in a clinic, on the back side of the clinic was this little mini mall, and it had a Starbucks. But I would go and drink the green tea from Starbucks, not really knowing like about quality, a long time ago. But I thought that because it was a paper cup, it was fine. But the paper cups are lined with not only plasticizers, BPA, but a chemical called styrene. And styrene's a nasty chemical for fertility and reproductive health. So I get this test back, and I do all these things. Like, I'm pretty aware of most things except the cups at that point. And everything was pretty low, but styrene was through the roof. So I go, what is going on? And I realized it was the coffee cups from Starbucks. And so I stopped drinking it. I retested myself 4 months later, probably 3 months later, and it was back down.
Was there anything that you did in that time to detox? No, it was
I
just able to naturally.
Yeah, I took care. That's a good question. I took care of myself. I was just eating healthy. I was doing a sauna back then at my gym, and that's it. Like, people get really crazy. Like, oh, I need to detox out of everything. If you understood how powerful your body is at healing, and how sophisticated it is, and how adaptive it is, we'd really have a lot of reverence, and we'd actually take a breath and go, okay, you know what? Like, even if I drank alcohol for 10 years, my body has this beautiful ability to come back to balance. Or even if I drank from a coffee cup, pour coffee from getting all the plastics, my body can still detoxify. So I always urge everyone to just take a breath and just trust that your body is really, really, really strong, okay?
We have a question of what toxicity test that you use.
Okay, yeah, so this is you usually get from a naturopathic or functional doctor, and this was at the time from Great Plains Lab, which became Mosaic Lab. Mosaic Lab has a panel called the GPL Tox, or the Tox Kit. It's the Tox panel, and it's 260 or 290 different chemicals, pesticides, not heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, all the insecticides, all the chemicals, I had one breast cancer patient. We tested her. This is crazy. We tested her, and she had 3 chemicals that are most notably found at the dry cleaners. Wow. And those chemicals were, and in San Francisco, she lived above a dry cleaner. I said, let me ask you a random question. Do you get your clothes cleaned at the dry cleaner often? Is there someone in your family doing this? She goes, no, but I live above a dry cleaner and I can smell the scents from it every day. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this girl has no idea that just living above that dry cleaner and being exposed to those fumes all the time, and you know, my heart goes out to people working at the dry cleaner who don't even know this, or nail salons, all these chemicals. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I watched a video recently that was a family that moved into like their dream home, and then their son, they had a young son, he maybe seemed to be like 5 or 6, and he started to develop symptoms of autism that he didn't have before, and they discovered that there was mold in this home, and then when they were able to move him, they were able to detox him, that he also didn't have the symptoms of autism anymore. So I think that there's so many of these like environmental toxins and things that just in our culture we're surrounded by, and they can lead to these like physical and mental health conditions that are so prevalent.
100%. 100%. And if we think about that, maybe he didn't have autism. Maybe it was just neuroinflammation coming from those mycotoxins that are coming from the air vent or behind the wall, that kid, and think about it, pound for pound, kids don't have the ability to detox the way that adults do. They're exposed to more pound for pound. So they're much more susceptible. And so, yeah, I talk about that with families a lot. It's you bring them to the doctor and the pediatrician, they're gonna go, okay, they look like they have signs of autism, maybe genetic, developmental, something, but they don't really ask about the environment. Mm-hmm. And we're not there in medicine yet, but anyway, when I came out, did you see me dancing? Did you hear me dancing to Bad Bunny? Mm-hmm. Do you listen to Bad Bunny at all?
I don't listen to Bad Bunny, but I do think that he's really cute.
Listen, okay. So what we're gonna do is every time we're working together, I'm gonna put a new Bad Bunny song, because
you gotta get me to be a listener.
This is crazy. This guy had more streams last year than Drake, The Weeknd, and Taylor Swift combined. Wow. 16 billion streams. It's pretty incredible that what this guy is doing for music. And the thing is, it's transcending across the board. Listen, if you're a Bad Bunny fan, please put that in there. I'm a Bad Bunny fan. He's from my home country of Puerto Rico. Put it down there. Let me know if you are a Bad Bunny fan. What's your favorite song by him? I just wanted to share that because he just came out with a new album. And it's taken the whole Latin community by storm, but it's about to take the world by storm.
Have you seen him live?
No. If somebody has a gift ticket for me, I will forever be indebted to you. You'll get a year of medical tests for a Bad Bunny ticket. I need a Bad Bunny ticket, please.
Ooh, and how about we'll get Bad Bunny as a guest on the live show. That's what we're manifesting here.
Okay, listen. There's
Anyone
a way.
knows Bad Bunny.
There's a way to do things, and I feel like we can do that. You and I collectively, let's do 10-minute chants every day. Bad Bunny live show. Bad Bunny live show. We'll put a little fire in front of us. We will manifest it. We have 2 powerful manifestors over here. Amazing stuff. Okay, well, Emily, any good questions coming through? Juicy stuff.
Yeah, we do. Okay, B. Natalia, I like that he came out with a salsa song.
Exactly. Hold on, let me say it. Hold on, check this out. My mom was a all-star, world-class salsa dancer. Did you know this?
I didn't know that.
Very famous in Brooklyn.
No wonder you can move like that.
Hold on. And my dad was a very famous disco dancer in New York City.
Oh my gosh.
So they were well-known dancers in New York City. My mom, when she was in the kitchen, and for those of you, my mom passed away in 2011, she'd be cooking, and I played that song in her spirit because she would be dancing, flipping a pancake, dancing, flipping the eggs, cleaning, dancing, more Bad Bunny, more salsa, right? So the person who just said it, I know that he came out with a salsa album, it brings so much life to me because he's bringing good reverence to really the roots of Puerto Rico.
Maybe that's how you can become a chef, is you just got to channel your mom and do some dancing in the kitchen. Right before this, we were talking about how this show is in the kitchen, but Christian is not a chef.
I'm not a chef, but But, you know, playing, anytime I cook, I take the spirit of my mom and I play music because I can't cook without music. Let me know if you guys, if you put on music, what's your favorite type of music to put on while you cook? I want to know. I do put on like some salsa, or I'll put on some old school 90s R&B with soul. Emily, you put on anything when you cook?
When I cook, I like Neil Francis. I like DJs, like Neil Francis. I like Mind Chatter.
Mind Chatter. Yeah. It's always like, it's not too heavy too. None of the stuff you listen to is like dysregulating. And shout out to that if you love dysregulating music. I know people who are you know, but yeah, I want to know, what are people listening to while they're cooking? I need some new music in my life.
Ooh, Shakira, old school.
Old school Shakira. So I know that person is shaking while she's cooking, 100%. She got the hip moving while she's cooking. I feel
Diana
it.
Silva has her own playlist when she cooks.
Well, drop that playlist in here because I
drop
want to listen to it. I want to be cooking with some new music, you know? That's really dope. That's really dope.
We have some questions about your matcha. Someone quite a bit ago asked for the matcha recipe, and then other people have been asking about your matcha. What can you say about your matcha?
Amazing. Okay, so it is this is all I can give right now. And I want to give it all. But you know, there's a process. It is an up-leveled matcha, better than matcha. So we'd even need a new name. It's not even matcha. Matcha's in it, but it's not just matcha. And it's incredible, and it makes you feel grounded and focused at the same time. But truly, a lot of everyone knows the integrity of what I come with, pure, clean, but also has to do something in the body. The doses aren't low, so you're just drinking something that looks nice and tastes nice. It actually does that, and it looks nice and tastes nice. And so that we are working on branding, naming, putting it all together. As you know, it's a process, Emily, but we're doing it. And we should be launching right before the summer. If everything works out well, there's always hiccups, inevitably. But I want to get it to all of you starting the summer. And it's the first of many products, but it's all around the nervous system. It is nervous system healing products. Emily, do you like that matcha?
Oh my gosh, I love that matcha. We like to joke, you know that commercial that's like, they want to get paid in Trident layers. I want to get paid in Christian's matcha. We joke that that's the only reason that I work with him is for the matcha. I came in this morning and I was like, where's my matcha?
I know. She does one show and she needs a trailer. She needs matcha. She needs hair and makeup. No, Emily, you do come in here and I know the matcha eye. You're about to open your computer and you're just tapping it and looking around and you're like, hello, can you make my matcha? But it is in it, and we're tuned in though. When we take it, we work.
Yeah, it is really, it's one of those where like you blink and all of a sudden it's been 2 hours of deep work, but like not like coffee where you're jittery. Like you're really grounded, but just really clear. And it's really beautiful to have kind of those like polarizing feelings at the same time.
We're working on a name. We're trying to find a name. And you know, of all the things that I love doing creatively, I'm not good at like one-liners or names. So listen, now that all of you who listen to the energy of the company coming out of the matcha, if you have a name that comes through channeled, just submit it. It will be a big help.
Drop it in. If we choose your name, we'll send you some free matcha.
That's right.
I am convinced that I am going to come up with the name.
You just need a little mushroom. You just need a little mushrooms or something.
Yeah, I did. I texted Christian. I said we gotta take some mushrooms and they'll tell us the name. But I probably text you at least a couple times a week with a new name.
That's right. Yeah. You hit me with a new name every single time. So on this live show, we will be doing reaction videos that you'll be able to see what I'm seeing on the iPad, which is pretty incredible because there's a lot of you know that there are videos on Instagram that are like, what am I watching? Is this person really eating that? Or is this person really concocting this drink? Is that good for me? Oh, this person says this cures this. This person said they heal from this. We're going to do a lot of myth busting on this show, but I'm going to be watching it here and you're going to be able to see what I'm watching and then you're going to get the real lowdown. And I told the whole crew that I don't want to see, I don't want to prepare, I just want to do it on the spot. What is the craziest trend, Emily, that you have been seeing in health and wellness lately?
Oh, the craziest trend?
I'm going to think about it too.
I know.
Well, I have one if you don't.
Okay, yeah.
You're still
yeah.
brewing? Well, do I have one? Listen, I think that diet is bio-individual. I think people do really well with certain foods. I know it. I've seen it. But, there's foods that one person can eat a sweet potato, the other person breaks out in hives when they do. And I believe in the balance. And we just did a show with Jeff Krasno from One Commune. And that show's coming out. And he said something really potent. And he goes, in Buddhism, we seek balance. But if you look at all systems in life, most are going to seek balance. There's not many natural systems that are forceful in one way or forceful in the other. Everything finds balance. And so our diet needs to be balanced. With that said, it kind of drives me crazy when I see, wait, do I have one of these things? What are these things called? Because I'm not in the kitchen all the time.
Cutting board?
Okay, the cutting board. A cutting board. You know when they have the cutting board and they have a giant piece of steak, like 4 eggs, a stick of butter, and like 3 things of cheese, and then they have raw milk like this, and they're like, come with me while I open up my stomach to the best breakfast ever. And they're showing it, and they're like, this is what I eat in a day. And there's like 2,000 calories and like 80, 90 grams of saturated fat, cholesterol, lots of protein, which is good, but my God, I don't think that people should be eating that much saturated fat in a day. And it's pretty crazy. The carnivore movement has convinced us without any real data or any real studies that we should just be eating tons of saturated fat. Saturated fat inevitably, especially for people who are genetically sensitive, will lead to plaque in the heart, predisposing you to the #1 killer, and that's heart disease. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think something that I notice is that even though like everything is seeking balance, I think human beings these days really start to like veer towards the extremes. And so they hear one time, carnivore diet, and they like fully go for that extreme. Or even like the keto diet trend, I remember hearing that keto is meant to be an intervention. Like you can do it for a period of time to get into ketosis, to get the positive benefits of that, but it's an intervention. It's not meant to be a lifestyle, because the same thing that you said, like too much saturated fat isn't a good thing, but people hear the benefits of keto and then want to like be keto for the rest of their lives, instead of testing it with their own body and maybe just using it as an intervention.
Yeah, and it plays to then like this implication that human beings are always looking for an answer to be better or feel better, it's great because we innately want to grow, but when they're moving to something else because they feel that they're sick and they want to do something else because that is the thing that'll make them healthy, then we're coming from a place of that seeking and scavenging for the very thing that is going to change my health. And oftentimes, you might feel better on a diet, but it's not the answer. It's not the true answer. What is your take, Emily, when it comes to what do you feel is the most impactful intervention for someone's real overall health?
I think connecting with their own body. I think so many, like we had the conversation earlier about environmental toxins, and now it's diet, and I think there's just all of these things that have the potential to get in the way of us connecting with our own intuition, whether it be inflammation, whether it be, information online, and that's bringing us too far up into our head where we're like thinking about things instead of actually just regulating our nervous system, connecting with our body. And our body knows, like our body's going to communicate to us, this food feels good or this food doesn't feel good, this person feels good or this person doesn't feel good. But when we have all of these like barriers in the way, I think that is what's moving us away from health. And I think that the answer to health is doing our best to break through those barriers, to connect with yourself, and like your body knows.
Man, I can't say much more to that because I agree fully. Other than, if we're tuned into our body, we know if this, how do you call this thing in English?
Cutting board.
If this thing full of all of these saturated fatty foods is something that I want to eat, or something on Instagram told me is the best thing to eat for muscles or weight loss or inflammation, what is true for me, right? And we know that. Like, I have very specific foods in my refrigerator and in my pantry, and I know that I don't react poorly to those foods. My body likes it, so I don't have to think about what can I eat? Is it going to bother me? Now, when we go out to eat, it's a little different, right? I have to kind of really feel in. Sometimes I close my eyes and go like, all right, does this broccolini dish, is that something that with olive oil and like salt and pepper sounds good? Is that something that my body wants? And then I'll tune in. I'm like, how does cauliflower, broccoli, how do the cruciferous vegetables make me feel? And I know inevitably I'm going to be burping, or I know inevitably I'm going to feel gassy. I'm not going to feel good. Like, so just tune in and take like 2 seconds. It only takes 2 seconds. If you're at the restaurant and you're looking at the menu, go Caesar salad. Yeah, oh, that kind of feels light. I feel like I want light, cold. Something I do, Emily, every morning is I'll stop, I'll tune into my body, and I'll say, what do you want? Most of the time it says water, right? Because it's dehydrated. But sometimes it says it wants to move. Sometimes it says that it wants a hot food, like an oatmeal. But sometimes it says it wants a smoothie. And it's not the same every day, because biochemically, we're not the same second to second. We're just changing. We're dynamic all the time. Let's get to some questions. Whatever type of questions, what's popping up right now?
All right. This isn't a question because, well, it is a question, but I have the answer. So Damien Photography said that we should post this on YouTube, and this will be posted on YouTube so that you can watch it later.
And Twitch.
And Twitch. All right. We don't have any questions right now, but to the point of like getting more in touch with your body. So you have been talking a lot about alcohol. And I know that this morning you like poured out a whole bottle of wine. I came in and I saw an empty bottle of wine and I was very confused, but he poured it out.
Here it is.
This morning. And I actually, so when I haven't drank in almost 2 years now. And the interesting thing about when I stopped drinking, there was a period when I just really slowed down my drinking. And I noticed that actually every time that I did have alcohol after that, like, you know, one drink really impacted me. Like my body was almost built up this sensitivity to it where it was like, this is poison. You know, I really don't like this. As opposed to when I could drink a lot, like I was just so desensitized to it that I didn't notice what it was actually doing to my body. And it's this interesting, you would almost think like as you get healthier, you can endure this thing more. But I felt like as I got healthier, my body really was like, no, stay away from this thing. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, 1,000%. I'll just put you into the experience of this. Like, I went to the liquor store this morning and at like 9, 10 a.m. And I had like this shame over me, and I had a hood on, and I look like literally a police sketch, you know, with the guys with the hood on, and they're just like kind of going in there, and they look all mysterious looking, and I was like, give me your cheapest bottle of wine, please. And I got this, and look, there's not to be shame. I'm just being dramatic about it. But I got this to do a reel this morning, which I just posted before we went on. And, you know, I'm smelling this as it's coming out, and it reminds me of like college 2006, you know? It smells like Rutgers University as a whole. And really, it was, for me, I from what, like 2000, and I didn't drink in high school at all. And then I went to college freshman year, and I had like my first beer. And I was like, whoa, this feels crazy. What's this feeling? I like this. And then from then all the way to like, God, like 2000 and probably 2017 or 18, I stopped drinking. But you know, towards the end, it just hurt to drink. Like, you know, at the end, like you're just like, oh, I'll just have it socially, and you go out. Even one glass of wine that I would have for dinner, I'd be dehydrated after dinner, and then I'd have a headache the next morning, and my body would hurt. And it's just your body, like we were talking about, what do you want to eat? If you really tune into your body, there's no way that your body's going to say, yes, more alcohol, I love this, give me more. It's impossible. The truth is that if you tune into your body, you're going to feel that even one sip of alcohol is going to be really contractive to your health. And we know already, there's so much science behind what alcohol does to the body. I'm just talking about energetically. Why did you drink alcohol? What made you like, did you ever find that you needed to drink because you were just out with your girlfriends?
Yeah, I think what's funny about that is that I actually stopped drinking, it was partly because of health, but it wasn't as much because of health. And then I think I've developed these new drivers along the way. But surprisingly, actually, when I was in like my mid-20s, I stopped getting hungover. So I would drink a lot one night, and I would wake up and I'd feel fine, and so I could go to the gym. And so that wasn't for me what what drove me to stop drinking. It was more so that and this is similar to our point of, you know, getting in touch with your body, but I wanted to be sure that like I was the one making all of my decisions, and I didn't feel like I was consciously making the decision to drink.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was raising my baseline. I felt like it was lowering or suppressing these other things. And on that journey, you know, I put myself in situations where in the past I would drink, and I would ask myself, like I would sit with myself and say, okay, will having a drink right now elevate my experience? And I truly meant like elevate my experience, raise my baseline, not make me less socially anxious, not make me less stressed about my day, because that's not raising the baseline, you know? And I started to realize 2 years later, it was never the answer, that alcohol will elevate my experience. And I really then started to dive back into why I originally started drinking. And, you know, I think it was to be cool. I did start drinking in high school. I think I wanted to look cool. I wanted to look fun. And then I think when you build that habit, we forget how to be social naturally. And so it becomes this crutch. And I think it's the same when I stopped drinking coffee. It was for the same reason. Like, it's not giving you energy, it's suppressing your feeling of being tired. And so I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to rely on this thing. What if I can like tap into my natural energy resources?
Yeah, 100%. And how much that is a story of most people, right? Like, we're just kind of like, I think of like, you know, cattle walking in, unfortunately, to get slaughtered, you know, and, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, how we treat animals. But like, they're just walking and like totally in line with what is just happening without ever being like, wait, why am I walking this way? Mm-hmm. And so like, we're kind of fed into this culture here in America that is so tied into alcohol. Everything, go out to eat, alcohol, baby shower, alcohol, birthday, alcohol. You know, sometimes in a funeral, let's go out and get a drink after this in honor of the person, alcohol. It's like, we can't do anything, you know? You know how many times, like, and I was guilty of this, that as I got older, the dating apps came out, and I would go on Bumble and Hinge and all these things, and it's always like, let's go out for a drink, let's meet for a drink, especially on the East Coast. But I found that alcohol was serving a purpose for me, and it was for me to feel better in my skin. And this is something that I don't think is spoken about enough, the energy draw of alcohol. What does it serve for you? So like, I'm at a bar, and I have alcohol poured for me, and like, there's a lot of noise because I'm very sensitive and an empathetic person. So there's a lot of stimulation. So I kind of like want to tone it down and feel better. So I'm drinking. We don't even know we do that subconsciously. Okay, well, people are dancing. Well, I love to dance, but I don't think I'm a good dancer. Or I love to dance, and like, I don't want anyone looking at me though. Well, maybe I'll just drink a lot of alcohol, and that'll like loosen me up. Oh my God, look at that beautiful woman over there, or that handsome guy. I would love to talk to them, but you know, I'm socially awkward. So, or I don't know. I wouldn't know what to say. Oh, let me drink some alcohol. So for me, it was like giving me this incredible courage of not, and this is actually, and I'm going to say something controversial. There's like a beautiful part of alcohol too, in that it kind of shows you your potential of what's inside of you. It shows a lot of darkness too, what's inside of you, but it shows this beautiful potential, like, hey, you do have confidence in you. Hey, who cares if someone's looking or how you dance? You can share your soul with everyone, right? And there's a beautiful truth serum. You know anyone who ever got drunk and they start crying, or they get drunk and they get really angry? Mm-hmm. That's a really quick illumination to repressed emotions. You know, so I always say, why do you drink? Aside from like thinking the world does it and you should, and it's so common and accepted, is alcohol serving a purpose? And the bigger question is, and this is how I got off of it, is that I would just go out and I'd be saying no, and I'd be uncomfortable. Things would be loud. There'd be a pretty girl over there and I want to talk to her. I actually got uncomfortable and stepped forward and started doing things and growing out of, I had to grow out of alcohol.
I think that's the thing, is that it, like similar to the diets, it doesn't have to be the extremes. Like maybe that alcohol can serve a purpose in your life at the beginning as this intervention to like give you the courage and show you what you're capable of, but then being intentional about it, that because I think the problem that exists within that is, you know, your brain then thinks, oh, it's the alcohol that's giving me the courage. It's not me that's courageous. Like, it's the alcohol, and it starts relying on it. And so once you can catch that and be like, okay, no, I can be courageous. I can do this uncomfortable thing. I don't have to now rely on this substance. But maybe for a little bit, the substance did, like, it was like the training wheels to help you out a little bit. But then you can, you know, you can wean off of it, and you can see what you're actually capable of on your own.
I want to know from the audience, who is wanting to get off alcohol? Please just put like a thumbs up if you're getting off alcohol, if you stop drinking, and how has that served you? What's better? Is your skin better? Or is your brain sharper? Do you feel better in the mornings? Do you have better relationships with people? Do you find that you're running away? Just what are people's stories with alcohol? I want to hear. And before we even wrap up, I would love to get any more medical questions that we could just do rapid fire and start answering. How can we serve you here at the kitchen? Catch up. A few more pieces on alcohol, yeah. And how many people were like, "Wait, you're not gonna drink? Huh? Are you okay? Why won't you drink? Did you have like a problem or something?" People start feeling bad when you're choosing to stand in the integrity of, I just don't want to drink anymore, because it's totally just having this nudge of discomfort for them. They're like, well, should I drink anymore? But how am I going to go out? How am I going to be social without alcohol? It's very uncomfortable for people to confront that. Anything coming in, Emily?
Yeah, we have that alcohol hurts Tawny's stomach. We have a question about what food for mental fog and anxiety.
Ooh, okay. For mental fog and anxiety, I always want you to think about it first here in your belly, right? Like, how are you going to optimize this? Because this is 80% connected straight to the brain. The signals from here go back to the brain. And so that pathway is really important to have the right signals. And right signals being, man, fermented foods. Like, I have a bunch of fermented foods here in my fridge. Like, we got all the way back here. Well, there's some Greek yogurt that I'm gonna give to Emily because I haven't eaten that in a while, and she loves it and I don't love it. I actually don't like Greek yogurt, but I like this. This is sauerkraut, but I'll have kimchi. This is fermented food, and it's really, really potent. This one is a game changer. This is kefir. Kefir, it's one of the strongest fermented foods that you can have. This one really helped my gut, and I took a shot of it. Remember when I took it the first time and you saw my face?
He said that didn't you say it tastes like, you know, those red like cheese that's
The
covered
wheels.
in the red wax? He said it tastes like drinking that. And when I went to buy kefir, because my boyfriend and I listened to Christian's podcast episode on foods or just superfoods, and he mentioned kefir, and so my boyfriend was like, we got to go to Rainbow Acres and we got to buy some kefir. And we were, you know, looking at the different options, and I was saying, well, Christian says that it tastes like a cheese wheel, and this guy next to us was like, you got to get this one, like this is the good one. It doesn't taste like cheese. It kind of tastes like drinking sour cream though.
It kind of does, and I it's even at that, like, it helped my belly, but then my body stopped reacting to dairy, so like not that well. So I'm pulling off back from dairy. I gave it a try. It doesn't work well for me. So instead, I'll do like the sauerkraut, or I'll do any fermented foods like miso, cabbage, kimchi. I love kimchi because it has a little spice. But to answer your question, all of these foods are populating the gut bacteria. They're helping actually feed the gut bacteria, giving the good non-inflammatory signals. And then any prebiotic foods. Jerusalem artichoke is one of the strongest prebiotic foods you can have. You ever have that from the farmer's market?
Did I ever have what? Sorry, I was reading.
It's called Jerusalem artichoke.
Yeah.
You've had it? Mm-hmm. If you have too much, it makes you gassy.
Well, at your retreat, Jeremy made us Jerusalem artichoke, huh? Wasn't it? It was in a salad.
He did. Mm-hmm. So prebiotic foods, fermented foods are probably the #1 way to help brain fog and anxiety, especially if the anxiety is coming from a dysregulated nervous system. We've
had a couple of awesome comments on alcohol, that people have cut out drinking completely or cut out frequent drinking, and now just super rarely. But comments about sleep. Someone said that they had struggled with acne for years, and cutting out drinking was the first thing that cleared up their acne. And then someone actually said that they have been able to connect more spiritually after
Yes.
stopping drinking alcohol.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree so much because alcohol creates this density in the body, right? There's a spiritual side to alcohol, and they say that it has its own consciousness, its own dark energy. And you kind of believe, right? People drink alcohol and dark shit happens, right? That's where people fight. That's where alcohol-induced domestic violence, people murders, robberies, it's all around alcohol and drugs. There's a consciousness there. But I noticed that I was less dense. I was more light. I was more open. I was more connected. I felt better. It's a nervous system thing in many ways too, but spirit 100%.
Yeah, and I think just your ability to be present and to be connecting with the present moment, be connecting with another human, be connecting with whatever it is that you're experiencing, instead of this thing that's like suppressing your ability to be conscious, basically.
Yeah, truly, and truly feel, right? Like this is a numbing, I have it right here. This is a numbing agent, right? And this is not to shame anyone who's drinking. Like, I have people in my life who drink on the weekends, and it's their choice. People are inevitably going to do what they want. And I let go of that control of trying to control people's health. No one's going to ever listen to you if you try to do that. Let people live, but give them the information, especially when they're seeking to have a higher choice. And when it comes to alcohol, yeah, it's a really quick way to disconnect from people and spirit. It really is I love that comment. Thank you for putting that in there. I want everyone to know, we're also going to be starting next week, for next week's live show on Tuesday at 12 Pacific time, we're going to be taking calls. So you can actually call in, and I want to talk to you. You're going to be able to call in, and we can hear things that are going on. We're going to answer questions, not only in the comments. Any more comments that come through before we put on some Bad Bunny and close this out?
And I'm not seeing any comments right now, and it is 1:04, so maybe we should.
Okay.
Bad
People
Bunny our
got to
way
get
outta
back
here.
to work. We got to get back to work. So Emily, I want to say congratulations on our first show, our first live show of many. Thank you everyone for coming and joining us. You know, like, we're going to be doing this every Tuesday, and we're going to be dancing. There you go. We're bringing Emily to the Bad Bunny concert ASAP. She's coming. Emily's going to be a Latina in a year from now. Earrings, makeup. All right, thank you everyone.